Welcome to Living Acadia TV, the show that celebrates the Acadia lifestyle and features the listings of the Swan Agency Sotheby's International Realty. This was an extra special season for us, the Acadia Centennial, that we got to celebrate with you all. And there was actually another really special event. Our cameraman, producer, director, editor, all around the guy that makes this show happen, got married to the love of his life, Sandy. So from all of us at Living Acadia TV, we want to congratulate Mike and Sandy Perlman. We really loved being with you during the centennial year. We did some cool things. You got to see parts of Acadia that you may not have seen this year, or if you weren't here, you got to celebrate the centennial virtually. Through the show today, you're going to see several little snippets from friends and colleagues of what made the Acadia Centennial special to them. For me, it was getting out in the park with my dogs, Ava and Izzy. Ava's a trail warrior and she does a great job, but Izzy must have known it or something. It was the centennial because she wanted to come along, and even though she insisted on riding most of the way, it was fun to be out with the girls. If you follow my Instagram, you've already seen a lot of that because I was posting a lot of pictures of Yorkies in Acadia. So sit back, enjoy this last season finale for season 2. Thank you for calling to see houses that you saw on the show. Thanks for all your words of support. Thanks for following our Facebook page. And we're going to see you again for season 3 next year.
Greenway Court is the site of one of Bar Harbor's most storied and spectacular summer cottages overlooking Frenchman Bay, numerous islands, and Egg Rock Lighthouse. The original home was built in 1910 by Francis Burton Harrison. Regretfully, the original home was lost when it burned to the ground in the 1947 fire. There are wonderful stories about the magnificent parties held at Greenway Court, which make for great reading in the book Lost Bar Harbor. 4.7 acres of a dream estate with sensational Acadia and ocean views, or perhaps a site for several homes. The current owners of this very special property left many of the ruins and remains of this remarkable estate, and they still stand today throughout the grounds. Today, the Swan Agency Sotheby's International Realty is offering a portion of Greenway Court property for sale. The location, off Old Farm Road, is close to the village of Bar Harbor, but still far enough out to enjoy peace and privacy and surrounded by Acadia.
My absolute favorite memory from the Acadia Centennial celebrations this year was the August event at the Jordan Pond House, where we celebrated the Rockefeller family and the gift of Acadia. All 4 members of the Maine congressional delegation attended and gave their personal reflections on the park. But what I remember the most was that my dad and I were in the back row listening to everything, and both of us were weeping. And it was such a joyful time for me to be able to spend that moment with him, because we both love Acadia so much. It was an incredible moment in my family's history.
So for me, it's sort of less traditional than what other people might have done going out into the park celebrating. I wear many hats in the summer. I have many different jobs, and one of them is waitressing at a restaurant that serves beer. It's a little local barbecue place, and it happens to be located at the Atlantic Brewing Company. And they this year have brewed a centennial ale. It's called Centennial, to commemorate the centennial of the park, and 5% of all the proceeds go to Friends of Acadia, which are partners with Acadia Park. So every day when somebody would sit down, I would explain what we had on tap that wasn't listed, and I sold so many of those, just letting people know that it was something special for the park. And I did have quite a few people ask me if the proceeds were going anywhere, so it was I felt that was my contribution to the park, was to sell beer.
The thing that I remember the most is the wonderful program we had here on September the 11th with the speaker Steve Rabb. He has his documents entitled From the Rabb Collection, R-A-A-B. And he put on display here at the Bar Harbor Historical Society wonderful documents. I, for instance, didn't realize that Teddy Roosevelt proposed to his wife here on Mount Desert Island. He also had an original document of Robert Treat Paine and Sam Adams, signed showing the division of the island in 1789.
Well, this was a wonderful summer. For me, it was a summer of appreciation. I appreciated being out in my boat more, and I especially appreciated my $10 lifetime card to Acadia National Park that gets me into any national park, any state park in the country. I also, the highlight of my summer was being able to officiate at Mike and Sandy's wedding at Camp Beach Cliff, which was an absolute joy.
Do you love Mount Desert Island? Do you call MDI home? How about a friend or family member who's homesick for the island? Well, we have the perfect holiday gifts for you. Our Home and Love MDI collection is growing, and we now have an online store. You can check it out at www.thehomestoremdi.com. We have had an amazing outpouring of support this year, and thanks to you, we were able to donate our profits to organizations like Friends of Acadia, the MDI Pet Food Pantry, and the Bar Harbor Historical Society. So check out our website and get in on the fun.
We're here today at the Bar Harbor Historical Society with Earl Brechlin. Earl's the editor of the Mount Desert Islander, a fellow board member here at the Historical Society, and a very good longtime friend. We're here to discuss his new book, Forever Yours, Bar Harbor. Earl, you must be thrilled with the reception this book is getting.
It was perfectly timed with the increase in interest in history with the Centennial of Acadia National Park, and it's just a great way for people to get into history without having to read a big thick book without any pictures.
So speaking of the pictures and everything, what gave you the idea? Why did you decide to do this?
Well, I used to deal in old photos and ephemera, and I started to see postcards, and I resisted collecting them because I said I knew it would get out of hand, and then eventually I got a big shipment basically of Bar Harbor postcards, and I said, wow, these are great. And then I started collecting them, and I said, oh, there's a book. And so now I've got about 2,200 of just Bar Harbor between late 1800s and 1920. So.
Wow.
And I don't have them all.
And Dean Lunt, who I know, who owns Islandport Press, he was the publisher for this book, and you've written several books, but this is the first one with Islandport, right?
Islandport has really become the preeminent Maine publisher. They have a great backlist. They're working with a lot of new writers, new illustrators, and it's a great company that really celebrates the spirit of Maine.
That is so interesting. You've, I know, been on the road. You've done a lot of signings. Tell us about some of those signings, because it seems like there's been a lot of press interest and Maine interest.
Yes, did the different libraries here on Mount Desert Island, the Historical Society. I did a talk at the Maine Historical Society in Portland, which has a centennial exhibit about Acadia itself, which was great. So done some TV interviews. Now I'm on your show. How it doesn't get any better than that.
Right, of course. And you said, I went to the signing here at the Historical Society, and you said something that was so eloquent, profound, whatever you want to say, that I wrote it down. And it was something along the line, you were talking about some of the pictures and the stories and everything, and you said the history of this island was written in fire.
It really is. I find when I'm giving the talk that when I talk about a different building or I talk about a different community, invariably I end up saying, and then it burned in a tragic fire, to the point now where I include it as audience participation. I just cue people and I have them say it. So many large hotels. The island before the Great Fire of 1947 had numerous large forest fires that just scorched thousands of acres because of the logging practices at that time. So when you look at it, the beautiful landscape we have today and the beautiful buildings and the nice villages and communities, they were written in fire. They've all been changed by that, when half a downtown would burn, or the Great Fire of 47, or a hotel with 500 rooms would burn down when they had basically 2 horses and a steam pumper to try to put it out.
So the fire of 47 wasn't the only fire then?
It wasn't the only fire. There's a great anecdote. When one of the hotels in Bar Harbor burned, the firemen concentrated on keeping the other structures safe. And they said a couple of them got wrapped up in a barbed wire fence, which the newspaper at the time reported caused a good number of well-known men to use foul language. So,
I love that one.
yeah.
What, something else that struck me, because I love the book, and I have my own copy, of course, signed by the author. And the other day, a bunch of people were on Facebook. I had posted on Facebook something about Reef Point, and a bunch of local historians started commenting on it because there's so much interest in Beatrice
Sure.
here, and suddenly Forever Yours Bar Harbor was a resource book. And we talked about, I said, I wouldn't have known what they were talking about, this tower down on the shore path, if I hadn't just read about it in your book. So I was thinking about that. Did you, when you were writing this, did you think of it becoming not just entertainment but also a resource?
Well, I think it was a good place to put a lot of the history together without having to sit down and pour through a thick volume. I think that each photograph that became a postcard, each illustration, is a jumping off point. What was there, what's there now, how did people live back then? And I think in many ways people still come to Bar Harbor looking for the essence of the golden age of Bar Harbor around the turn of the last century, and I think this helps take them there.
And it's a marvelous job. I know we sell these at the Bar Harbor Historical Society, and I'm sure the local shops have them. Is this also something people can get online, or where are
Sure.
the places they can get it?
Sherman's has it, Acadia Corp has it, Window Panes, a lot of shops and places in town carry it, and it's available online both through islandportpress.com and at amazon.com.
Excellent. Well, we strongly suggest you pick up this book, and the timing's perfect because we're getting close to holidays, and you can give it as a wonderful gift.
Welcome to 11 Woods Road in Mount Desert. We are here today enjoying this fabulous setting. This gorgeous home is set on just over 3 acres, and we're only a few minutes from Pond's End, Long Pond, which is great. Great kayaking, swimming, boating, or even in the winter, ice fishing. This home is about 4,000 square feet, and it's a timber frame home, so it's gorgeous craftsmanship throughout. If you take a look around and check out all the beams, they're beautiful. All the woodwork and detail is just amazing. And this fabulous room that we're sitting in right now, there is a gorgeous wood burning fireplace that they use all the time. And the hearth is local quarried granite, and they tried to mimic the bridges in Acadia. So when you take a look at that, it's really, you can see the connection there, which is great. In the main home, there's a fabulous master bedroom located on the first level. Very spacious and open and bright. The master bedroom, on top of being very spacious and bright, there's a great bathroom attached to it that has beautiful shower with the river rock stone on your foot area, which is really nice. On the second floor here, there's 2 additional bedrooms and an office area. The second floor has a 1 shared full bath for both guest rooms. And then of course the apartment above the garage also has a full bath. In total there are 4 bathrooms. Some additional features of this home that I love, especially if you like to cook or entertain, the kitchen is fantastic. It's all open, which is so nice if you have guests over while you're preparing meals. It's a very, very nice kitchen for cooking and entertaining, or just really basic living. The other thing about living in Maine, we sometimes have black flies or mosquitoes, and in this case there's an amazing screened-in porch that basically you can use this space year-round. As you're walking in the home, there's a powder room on your left-hand side. It's great, right off of the great room. Another great thing about this house here
is there is an apartment for guests or investment if you're looking for extra income over the garage. So it's its own place, separate for guests, which it has its own kitchen and everything, which is great. Another great feature of this property is the location. So you're in a central spot on MDI, which is great. You're minutes from Pond's End, which is a great freshwater lake, but you're also minutes from Pretty Marsh and the ocean. So that's you're right in the central spot, which is great. And the other good thing here is your taxes are extremely affordable as far as things go on the island. The taxes for this property are under $4,000 per year, which is just amazing for the type of home you're getting, 3 acres in a beautiful subdivision, and you're right surrounded by Acadia National Park, which is so fantastic. The listing price for this property is $1,050,000. I hope you've enjoyed this home today, the tour around, and we look forward to setting up a showing and showing you through in person sometime. See you next time.
So what always strikes me about Acadia is that you can even be someplace that seems really busy, like downtown Bar Harbor, and still there's a place close by. So in my case, it's kind of near this office, is Compass Harbor. And I can go there in August in the middle of a day that's beautiful, and I can maybe see 1 or 2 people, but I can also just sit by the ocean. And the last time I was there, actually there was a rainbow and a seal, and I was like, this is perfect. So I think that's what's special, is that even when it seems crazy, and this summer with the Centennial it was a little crazy, that there's still these places that are pretty unvisited or that feel secret that you can go to.
I think it's when my husband Bill and I went to see the Windjammers come up the Sound. It was awesome, awesome. And then the next thing is to go to see Jeff Dobbs' new film that's going to be at the Criterion next week on the history of Acadia.
The 5 classes that I gave for the Centennial will always stand out for me. The first one, we did Valentine's, in love with Acadia for 100 years and beyond. And then we progressed, we did a lot of stars for the Starry Nights of Acadia, and we did a paste paper workshop. And it brought a lot of people in to work together with their hands to celebrate Acadia through art. So those 5 classes, of course, stand out in my mind. We brought a guest artist from Virginia. Eric was really special. He spent 2 weeks painting in Acadia. He's been coming to Acadia since the 70s. In his hometown, he was selected as favorite artist for 25 years until they retired the category in his honor, and his local PBS station did a film on Eric, which we showed at the gallery. Having Eric here was wonderful. I guess the most memorable things to me were all the different art events.
The Manor House Inn on Bar Harbor's West Street, once known as Millionaire's Row, is one of the village's most beautiful and well-located bed and breakfast inns. Originally known as the Boscobel when it was built in 1887, Manor House has been welcoming visitors to Bar Harbor and Acadia for many years. Are you ready to live your Acadia lifestyle, even for a week? Grasslands would be the perfect spot. Bernard, Mansell, Beach Hill, Flying, and Acadia Mountains are all visible from this spectacular view. This very efficient, maintenance-free home was designed by architect Michael Russell and is nestled on a beautiful lot in a wonderful Northeast Harbor location on Sinclair Road. Outdoor summer living is casual yet refined with both open decks and screened porch. Begin your family memories now. Welcome to Crowcrest on the shore in Sorrento. Sorrento is an idyllic Maine escape. 3 homes on this oceanfront compound, capable of sleeping 26, so there is plenty of room to invite friends and family for extended stays.
Wraparound deck, which is really nice for entertaining if you're having lobster bakes or that kind of thing with lots of friends and family. Another great feature with this house is that it's designed to live in year-round. So a lot of people think a coastal home like this is really only seasonal, but these sellers have enjoyed many, many winters here, and they have this fabulous wood stove that kicks out a lot of heat, and if you have a little wine to warm you up, that's probably even better.
Spring Tide is located on the saltwater shores of the Salt Pond, as Maine as it gets, an architectural masterpiece on the granite shores of an ocean cove. There is a wraparound open porch, deck, and screened gazebo directly off a sunny, well-designed kitchen.
Welcome to my open house at Picnic Rock in Surrey.
From the moment you walk in, you know you are somewhere special. So exceptional, this home is one room after another of quality and design. Left, right, up or down, your eyes will enjoy the quality of the workmanship and design of the rooms. Built-in bookcases, high wood ceilings, open beams, and plenty of sitting areas abound.
We know that the relationship that people have with their realtors is an important one. You need to trust that person, you need to understand each other, and it would be nice to have something in common. A key component of our new website, swanagency.com, is bios of our brokers so you can get to know them. But it's not just bios, it's not just a short paragraph and their picture and maybe their email address. You'll get to know something about them. For instance, Jane Pooler says the best place she's ever seen a sunset is in St. John in the Virgin Islands. Ted Kohler's ready to go to Ireland. Midge Smith, given the choice of having dinner with 3 people, either living or dead, wants to have a nice meal with David Ortiz, Margaret Chase Smith, and John Goodman. I'd like to be a fly on the wall for that one. You'll really get to know about all the brokers, and with several of them, you'll get to hear podcasts featuring them and getting to know a little bit more of their personality. We know the strength of the Swan Agency is the group of brokers that work with us, and we want you to know them too, because I'm really confident once you get to know them, there'll be somebody you would love to work with.
The first one what really appealed to my cultural sensibilities, and I went to a Wabanaki play done by the Penobscot Theater, the Summer Children's Theater, and they did a play called Transformer Tales, and acted out all of these different Wabanaki tales, and it was the first time that the Wabanaki language had been spoken on the Penobscot theater stage, so on Penobscot language on the Penobscot stage, and it was all types of kids from all different backgrounds, and it was just a really meaningful moment to think about all the people who have enjoyed Acadia, all the different kinds of people over all the different times who've enjoyed this really special place on the coast of Maine. And then I also really enjoyed the event, The Gift of Acadia, where the Park Service was present at Jordan Pond House, and there was just all different kinds of people there to celebrate the event, and they sang This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie, who was commissioned by the Park Service to inspire people about the nation's public lands in the early 1900s, and my son is named after Woody Guthrie. So it was a really meaningful personal moment of all the times that we've enjoyed national parks and looking at the American history. And then the really exciting one that appealed to my adventure side was the Windjammer Parade that happened in Somme Sound, and hiking up Acadia Mountain to get photos of our seasonals working the event and talking to visitors. and just seeing all the people who had gathered together on the summits and trails to watch all these different windjammers and sailboats cruise up the sound was a really special event. It felt like this is only going to happen in the Centennial.
Okay, so we're asking everybody today what their favorite Centennial thing is and what they did special. So what we have to decide now, and we have to agree on it, because we have to present it as our recommended hike. What is the best hike for somebody to go on to celebrate the Centennial and walk through it and think centennially?
Ooh, that is a good one. Gosh. All right. Well, of course there's different levels of hiking skill or whatever, but I'll go with kind of a medium one.
Go with one that a Yorkie can go on.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, your Yorkies can pretty much do anything.
That's true, the mountain.
I would say one of my favorites is the Great Head Trail that goes down to Sand Beach. And then if you want a little more, you can go across and go up Beehive or Gorham.
And that Great Head Trail, we took Ava on that.
Yes.
And I mean, there were some mountain but then I think I posted on Facebook and you had just gone on the same trail the same day.
It was exactly. And it's close to town. Sometimes after work, if I don't have a whole lot of time, I'll just run and do that. It's quick, you still get your heart rate up. It's beautiful views.
Oh, when you get to the top, it's like, this is all worth it. Happy 100th Acadia.
Yes, and then you look around and say, thank you for having a fabulous national park that we get to use as our backyard.
All right, that's going to be our recommended hike.
Perfect.
Cool.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Clement and I work for Friends of Acadia, the nonprofit partner to Acadia National Park. I've been so blessed to work throughout the last couple of years with a group of citizens, the Acadia Centennial Task Force, who came together to encourage a broad, Maine-wide, year-long community celebration of Acadia National Park. We've had a fantastic year so far, with over 200 events being planned throughout the local communities by a variety of organizations and partners who wanted to celebrate their own unique relationship to Acadia National Park. Some of my favorites have been the Park Science Day at Sertimo Springs, the Ellsworth Library's lecture series. They've had people in once a month to talk about various topics of interest, and the variety of art shows that have been throughout the whole region. We've also had 10 original works of musical interest that have been performed around Mount Desert Island, Ellsworth, the Schoodic Peninsula, and beyond. So it's been an amazing community response by more than 446 organizations who planned activities and invited the public to come share their celebration of Acadia National Park. We've also had an amazing array of products out in the local communities, everything from ice cream flavors to waste baskets, to calendars, to you name it, and it's probably out there. Everything is still available online at www.acadiacentennial2016.org. You can see the full variety of products in the local communities. You can see the calendar of events, and I encourage you to definitely check that out because we will have events through the rest of the year, including 600 Girl Scouts who are descending upon Acadia National Park the first weekend in October. So we thank you all for your great celebration of such a wonderful resource that's our resource in Acadia National Park. It's been a tremendous celebration of the 100th anniversary of our park, and we're onward to the next century of conservation here on Mount Desert Island.
So that's a wrap of Season 2 of Living Acadia TV. I hope you all have your own Acadia Centennial memories that you'll carry with you for a long time. Until next year, make sure you go to YouTube to watch episodes from Season 1 and Season 2. And happy holidays from all of us at the Swan Agency, Sotheby's International Realty, and Living Acadia TV.